Kim Philby owed me one. I'd helped him out back in London, and he told me to ask if I ever needed a favor. Well, now that I needed one, I didn't hesitate. I wanted to be there when, not if, when, Diana Seton returned from her mission. Philby was the only person who could make that happen, so I was glad he was in my debt. As head of the British Secret Intelligence Service's Mediterranean operations, he controlled all the spies, saboteurs, and agents operating in neutral nations and behind enemy lines from Portugal to Turkey. That included Diana Seton, of the Special Operations Executive, who had been sent into Rome disguised as a nun to establish contact with a pro-Allied circle within the Vatican. How do I, a lowly lieutenant, know all this? Because Diana Seton is the love of my life, and I worry about her day and night. A lot of people worry about each other in this war, but unlike them, I can do something about it. I work for General Dwight David Eisenhower, which gives me access to secrets out of the reach of most colonels and many generals. The fact that in private I call him Uncle Ike doesn't hurt either. It allows me to get involved with men like Kim Philby. When Philby called 2 days ago to tell me he was good for the favor I'd asked, Uncle Ike gave me a 5-day leave and told me to stay out of trouble. I'm going to Switzerland, I told him. How much trouble could there be in a neutral country? As I stamped my feet on the station platform, trying to keep warm, I thought I might have been off the mark. It was cold, and the sun was casting its last feeble yellow rays sideways from the west. I watched the German and Italian border guards, about 50 yards away, their frosted breath trailing like plumes as they walked. Chiasso is a border town, and the railroad runs right through it. The platform stretches from the station on the Swiss side south to the Italian border, marked by a customs house and crossing gate. Philby and I had been waiting an hour, nervously watching the train halted behind the gate, still on Italian soil. Diana was on board, or so I'd hoped, until a half-dozen men in leather trench coats entered the train, and a platoon of German soldiers with submachine guns surrounded it. The black locomotive released a sigh of steam from its boiler, as if straining at the leash for the final stretch. "Gestapo," Philby had said. "Not to worry. She has good travel papers, signed by the German general commanding rail transport in northern Italy. The Gestapo can sniff out phony papers, no matter how good. Oh, they're the real thing, old boy," Philby said, clenching his pipe between his teeth. "This general is quite the churchgoer, especially since he arranged for the transport of several thousand Italian Jews." To where? I knew the Nazis were rounding up Jews everywhere and shooting a lot of them, but I didn't know where they kept transporting them to, or why. It didn't make sense when they needed railroads for troops and supplies. But then nothing in this war made much sense.